it's like Urban Meyer to go college coach to pro coach, go from dealing with an athletic director to a crazy billionaire owner. He also knows there are big changes, college to pro football. So Dave Wannstedt next hour on that Urban Meyer topic, among many. Also, he knows the Bears really well, and he's been staying in my ear all year. You can win with Trubisky, maybe not a Super Bowl, and right now Chicago's on fire, so we'll talk about that. So most people in the media don't like blowback. They don't want, especially with social media now, people are calling you out, and a lot of media people just don't want it. And so there's not a ton of courage in media. People sort of follow what everybody else says, or they don't want to criticize really popular politicians or really popular people. And like Patrick Mahomes, he's likable, he's great, he's won a Super Bowl. Nobody wants to, ever push back a little bit on this. But right now, and I'm not into awards much, but this year I am, because I think Aaron Rodgers is easily the MVP of the season. And I think after last night, Josh Allen is number 2. And I think Patrick Mahomes is 3. It's not a criticism of it, but I grade on a curve. I'm not giving it to you because you were great in September and October. No NFL season has ever been determined in September. In fact, Bill Belichick, his worst month is September. Like, that's his experiment month. Sean Payton and Bill Belichick, make an argument, 2 best coaches in football last 15 years, are bad September coaches and great December coaches. So Mahomes got off to a better start. But right now, Kansas City offensively is underachieving and Buffalo is exploding. So if you go to let's go to the last 4 games of Mahomes and Allen. Okay, it's not close. But that's kind of a small sample size. It wouldn't be fair. I mean, like completion percentage, one guy at 60, Mahomes, one guy at 70. Passer rating, Mahomes at 89, one guy at 117. It's not really close. But that's kind of small. So let's almost double it. Let's go to the last 7 games. Edge Josh Allen, much higher completion percentage, slightly better TD to interception ratio, and a better passer rating. Yards, passing per game, that goes to Mahomes, who has much better weapons. So this is something that we have a history, a precedent of it. Like in college football, you don't allow September and October to define the Heisman. Carson Palmer won a Heisman at USC. His first 6 games that year, he had 9 touchdowns and 6 picks. He was bad. His next 6, he had 23 TDs, 4 picks, and he won the Heisman based on what should matter, the end of the season. The last 6 games for USC, I think that year they beat Iowa in an Orange Bowl. Right now, in the last 2 months, Allen is slightly better. In the last month, he is significantly better, and I think he's number 2 in the MVP race. I don't think it's terribly close. I think it's Aaron's year. I think he's been remarkable, and that's how I see it. I wanted to say this about Clemson-Ohio State play Friday. Dabo Swinney got a lot of heat because in his last poll, he put Ohio State at 11. And, his thing is, I'm sorry, but they didn't play enough games. But it is interesting. You know how sometimes if you have what you perceive as a rivalry, one person sees it as a real rivalry and one doesn't. Michigan looks at Ohio State, whoa, what a rivalry. Ohio State looks at it like a win, like a comfortable win. So the last 4 years, Clemson has played Ohio State. In the last 4 years, Clemson has beaten Ohio State twice, average margin of victory, almost 19 points. In the last 4 years, Clemson has played Syracuse 4 times. Clemson wins by only 15, and they're 3-1. So in Clemson's eyes, you could make an argument that Syracuse is giving them about as much trouble as Ohio State. And Clemson looks at Ohio State and thinks, well, there's only one roadblock for us to win a national championship, the SEC champ. It could be LSU, it could be Alabama, maybe some year it'll be. That's how they see it. So if you look at Dabo Swinney against Ohio State, he's 3-0. He wins comfortably in most, and they've averaged winning by about 15 points. Now, you could say, Colin, last time they played, Ohio State jumped out to a very big lead. They led like 16-0. Well, this year, Boston College led Clemson 28-10. It's not like in the ACC they never fall behind or never lose a game. Syracuse gives them problems. Boston College this year. I mean, I think Ohio State views it as a rivalry, and I think Clemson looks at it, and I think Clemson knows Ohio State's good enough to beat them. I mean, again, I think a couple years ago, didn't like Pittsburgh beat Clemson? You can lose to anybody almost. But I think Michigan sees Ohio State's rivalry differently than Ohio State. Ohio State's like better players, better coach. We win, and we win comfortably. And maybe all Clemson looks at Ohio State that way. Maybe they do. I don't know. Now I do think